Hi guys, welcome to my student presentation on ancient Egypt. Egyptian history begins with a 2,000-year-long period of time known as the pre-dynastic period. This period was a period of gradual development which eventually led to Egyptian civilization. Most Egyptians began as agriculturists. Egypt was one of the early river valley civilizations. Two separate kingdoms were established along the Nile River, which was perfect for agriculture due to the benign and consistent behavior of the Nile River. Unlike the unpredictable and destructive Tigris and Euphrates, the Nile River flooded at the same time every year, providing necessary fertilization and irrigation. Farming was so easy, the seeds simply needed to be scattered and then trampled by oxen. Unlike many early river valley civilizations, Egyptian civilization existed only along the riverbeds. The Nile was also used to travel between kingdoms and trades. Egyptian history can be divided into three broad categories: Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and New Kingdom, marking the peaks in civilization. When you think of ancient Egypt, you probably think of sun gods, pyramids, hieroglyphics, and afterlife. All of these things were established during the Old Kingdom, except for the fascination with the afterlife. That was the New Kingdom. The Old Kingdom began with the third dynasty of pharaohs. The Old Kingdom is also known as the Egyptian Golden Age of peace and prosperity. The pharaohs held absolute power and provided stability. During the Old Kingdom, wealth grew from the military, but then King Doja asked an architect, priest / healer, Imhotep, sorry, I probably did not say those names right, to design a monumental funerary. This is when the building of pyramids began, or also known as the Pyramid Era. The Pyramid Era quickly drained Egypt of all of its wealth. Then, after the death of King Pepi II, the Old Kingdom collapsed in chaos. After the fall of the Old Kingdom, Egypt entered into the First Intermediate, which was a break in complex civilization. Egypt remained in this intermission until around 250 BC, with the rise of the 11th dynasty. New rulers were from Nubia. They brought with them their gods, which mixed with the Egyptian gods to create an all-powerful Amun-Ra. Egyptians eventually went and conquered Nubia, where their pharaoh was from. The Middle Kingdom was kind of a time of conquering and being conquered. They went and conquered Nubia, and then several different civilizations tried conquering them, one of which was successful and kind of integrated itself in with the civilization. Egypt's military learned a lot from their military until they were eventually able to force that military out, and the rise of King Ahmose, which brought about the New Kingdom. Also known as the New Kingdom. The New Kingdom continued in military advancements, in more of an empire way. They conquered just to conquer, and they started expanding south for gold. They conquered Palestine and Syria as part of their expansions. The traditional view that we think of when we think of the afterlife in an Egyptian style was brought about during the New Kingdom. Ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs were gods. They also believed in the afterlife, that after you died, you were taken to the afterlife where you would live with everything that you were buried with. So they composed these huge pyramids that they were buried in. That was something that they came up with in the Old Kingdom. So they had these huge pyramids that were full of all their most prized possessions that they were buried with, and they believed that they would take those things with them to the afterlife. Mummification was also something that was kind of perfected during the New Kingdom, the process of preserving the bodies by taking out organs and other things to keep those bodies as preserved as they could. Ancient Egypt had a huge influence on art. For the most part, Egypt was a pretty wealthy country due to their success in agriculture because of the Nile River and all of the fertilization that it had, and their military, which was really strong, and they got so they had a lot of time to study art and architecture and just really build up their religion. Ancient Egypt is also one of the most central and important civilizations in the Mediterranean world. It's one of the longest lasting civilizations, and it's something that archaeologists and historians have devoted their entire life to, just studying and researching, and there's a lot that we can learn from it. And yeah, so this is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed.